all panchayats, all 2.5 lakh of them, they are present on e-Gram Swaraj. For right from planning to the payment stage, everything is done on a portal which is called e-Gram Swaraj. This portal works in the English language.
Yeah.
So now I'll tell you, in 2019, when we were starting something called the People's Plan campaign, I happened to attend a Gram Sabha in the state of Karnataka. I was there for something like 45 minutes and I was felicitated and sat on stage and I didn't understand a thing. And then it struck me, I had this thing that how do you expect these people really to relate to what is happening, because it is public money. Everybody in the panchayat needs to know what kind of plans are uploaded, how many works got done that were as per the plans, how much did it cost them to do it, and subsequently they can raise issues in the meetings pertaining to the works close to their residences. And along came Bhashini. I think we had in the year 2023 an event called Manthan, where we invited a lot of people from the industry to tell us how we could conduct our business better. And so Bhashini was a revelation. And imagine that a person from a panchayat is looking at the expenses page for his gram panchayat or her gram panchayat, and then by a click of a button, they're able to see it in their own language. It was magic, and that was the starting point.
Okay.
Yeah, and subsequently, of course, we went from there, and we found out through a survey that what really hurts a panchayat secretary is not to be able to produce the minutes of meeting in time, which are very important, which was the only record of a panchayat's proceedings. And then again, using Bhashini and another tool, we were able to create Sabhasar, in which if you input the video/audio recording of your meeting, you are able to get a minuted draft, which you can then edit and upload.
Okay.
So that was miracle number 2. And briefly, if I could also address Swamitva, is a scheme that you mentioned. Yeah. So Swamitva is a scheme where drone surveys are carried out over all the village habitations. So there are these pictures that are subsequently converted to ortho-rectified images, and they lead to property rights for the people living inside those villages.
Yeah.
But the way the images have been captured, there is dense point cloud information, all of which was getting wasted. Why? Because we were confining our attention only to the ortho-rectified images. So we had the AI guys look at that, and then they converted all those rooftops that they could see into the solarization potential. As a result of which now, out of the 3.3 lakh gram panchayats where drone survey has been carried out, in 2.38 lakh gram panchayats, you can go to Gram Manchitra and you can zoom into your village, and then you can click the icon corresponding to the solarizability potential, and it will tell you roof-wise how many panels can you fit there. We've gone further, and we've integrated that with the PM Suryaghar Yojana portal, as a result of which the Gram Panchayat can drive it like a campaign. Okay. And lead to greater rewards for everybody all around. Yeah?
So actually, it reaches to the last mile citizen when you talk about those benefits. Okay. So India's last mile operates in local languages and dialects, as you mentioned, solving that problem. So in your view, how critical is language AI in ensuring that digital governance platforms are inclusive and participatory and increases citizen trust and participation in Gram Sabhas?
Like I said, people are now able to follow what was something that was written in. They could still see it, of course,
yes,
in the English language. Then they'd have to go to the person who they knew to be very smart in the village, and they'd have this person read it out to them. Now they can see it at their leisure. Not just people here, but people outside who are working in Mumbai can see what is happening in their panchayats in close to Pune or something, and immediately they can get active about it. So, and the minutization tool that I mentioned, that opens a whole new set of avenues now. You can have a record, then against that you can have action taken reports, and then you could have follow-up in the next meeting. It makes it all amenable to very systematic
The,
representation on
the
portals.
step by
So
step,
that is
yeah.
what some of the states have already started doing.
Yeah.
And it is truly remarkable that anybody can go in there. And when I say anybody, I don't mean just the panchayat secretaries. Anybody in a village can drill into their Gram Panchayat's record
Okay.
and see that corresponding to the Finance Commission grants for any year,
Okay.
what was the plan against which how much has been executed, how many bills were prepared against each activity, and what is the status of the payment, whether it has been completed, where the asset exists, the geotags, and then you can zoom in and maybe see it on Gram Manchitra. So there are great rewards for everybody all around, and we need to, of course, now intensify it through a capacity building training program. That is something we started doing from the previous year, but it has been an incredible journey.
And it is being adopted all over, yeah. So Alok ji, let's talk a bit about Sabhasar impact. Let's let our audience know about it. And with its launch on 14th August 2025, MOPR introduced an AI-enabled voice-to-text meeting summarization tool powered by Bhashini ASR services. So as of 4th February 2026, over 1,15,115 Gram Sabha meetings have been processed. So this is a good number. I need a, yeah. Thank you for the round of applause. So what structural changes have you observed in the panchayat functioning after Sabhasar?
Sabhasar was one thing that we carried out for the convenience of the panchayats and the panchayat secretaries, as opposed to e-Gram Swaraj, which was our selfish motive. We wanted panchayats to plan there and show all their vouchers there, so that we could tell that this is how the money is being spent. But Sabhasar actually came through as a part of a survey that was carried out using Rapid Pro by UNICEF. We asked something like 8,000 panchayat secretaries all over the country that how do you spend your time?
Okay.
How much of it is spent in inspections and attending programs and meetings and making records? So one thing that came through was the conduct and recording of meetings was in I don't know, 65% of the respondents,
Okay.
that was the activity that was sitting, very heavy on their entire time availability. And so, having realized this and having the help of Bhashini, we converted it into a tool. So in Bhashini, it's very simple. There is no big standard operating procedure, as it were. So if you're standing having a meeting, there has to be a recording device. It could well be your mobile phone. And then through audio or video recording, you can just place it each time somebody speaks. And later on, you input this into the Sabhasar tool. The Sabhasar tool is not something that is a part of the device on which you carried out your recording. So the issue related to connectivity in villages is
Doesn't-
something that we've
okay.
been able to sidestep. And once you do that, it gives you a draft minute of meeting. So Bhashini turns it into English. And the English thing is
Different
minutized using the AI engine.
Okay.
Again, Bhashini gives it back to them in their own language.
Yes.
And
That
yes,
efficiency.
it's voila. The person can just make a few changes and upload it. And we've had some heartfelt gratitude coming to us from villages as a result of this.
Okay, so has the structured documentation improved transparency, participation tracking, or monitoring of meeting frequency and agenda quality too?
now that the minute is ready, if there are 5 items, 10 items, so the states that have really gone ahead and adopted it, which is Odisha, which is
Okay.
Tamil Nadu, which is Tripura, all these people are into the second stages now, where they are looking at the minutes of meeting and converting it into, or refining it into tools that helps them keep track of the activities after they've been created. We also realized through our meetings that why is the number just 1,15,000? So there are a whole lot of people whose languages do not exist on Bhashini. So from there, we asked those states to provide Bhashini with the necessary
Data.
expertise so that they can train their bots.
Bots, yeah.
And they're already working on something like 11 more languages, which includes Assamese and Bodo and Maithili and
Yeah.
Santhal and whatnot.
The in-depth dialect.
Yes, so those languages are also, so it's been uh, a very gratifying experience, and then the learning continues.
Yeah, it's commendable that things have reached to that level. So over to you, Amit ji, from an accountability lens, does structured documentation change behavior with governance systems?
Thank you. So I think, so if you have understood the enormity of the situation, right, what we are talking
Yeah.
about, 250,000 plus gram panchayats and different kind of languages. So just to circle back, if you look at the frugality of the situation, right?
Yes.
So for example, if you look at in India, generally people talk about either we live in a bullock cart stage, right, or we are aspiring for bullet train, right? So the point is, if AI has to tell us in terms of how we'll learn in the future, how will we transform, so we cannot, leave out 900 plus million people who are living in villages, right?
Absolutely.
So the idea is not to make it very, very urbanized, very, very kind of elitist idea that, that AI is only for urban, AI is only for industries, AI is only for commercial sector.
True.
So obviously this is a journey, right? So you have to start somewhere. So for example, the frugality what I was talking about, that we did not ask Gram Panchayats to invest anything, right? All they need to have a mobile phone, which any which way they have, right? And the
Absolutely.
idea is just to kind of record and upload. Obviously, there will be some challenges and kind of
Yeah,
in the
for sure.
resistance also in the beginning.
Talk about it.
But once they get used to it. So for example, today we are asking them to kind of upload your recording, right? The rest is done by system, and system also has a provision of human in the loop, so that we can go and correct it. Now tomorrow we see the next step, what we will be doing, what we can do perhaps, right? When the next meeting happens, we can also populate the agenda from last meeting, right? So what was discussed last time, what was committed, whether you are doing or not doing, right? And then everything goes to kind of public domain. So generally, the people who live in city, they know that, when there is a RWA meeting, nobody goes and attend, right? But they all, wages
Good example, I would say,
warfare
yeah.
in the WhatsApp group, right? So same in the village also, it's not easy to bring people, right? But once they start getting the hang of it,
Yeah.
right? That, okay, there is a meeting, I am getting the mom and it's available in the public domain. We are using AI, AI is for good, AI can also be leveraged for rural sector, right? Why it has to be
Yeah.
very, very elitist only for passport seva, let's say, right? So that's just a beginning. It's just a journey, right? And also, if you see from an idea point of view, that's a phenomenal idea for Ministry of Panchayati Raj. Let me
Yes.
congratulate sir and the entire team to think of something like that, right? Because
Yeah.
see, the AI is all about idea and use case, right? If you have the right idea, you can do wonders. But you have to have idea and the
Absolutely.
kind of muscles to execute it. So that way, I believe that this whole documentation will do wonders for them. Gram Panchayats will also realize something which was missing in the most up part of the world, that the record keeping, accountability, transparency, so on and so
Yes.
forth. Because generally these decisions were taken by some people only and executed by some, and the large population was largely kept out of it, knowingly
Absolutely.
or unknowingly, right? So I think that's what I said, that it will change the way they work, it will change the way they think, because this is only for a kind of, we are starting only with the, let's say, meetings. But now they will start thinking, and there will be
Much
demand
broader.
from states and
Yeah.
otherwise, right? What more can be done with AI?
Exactly. So
Like,
broader scales would be achieved.
yeah,
Yeah,
Sabasar is an
absolutely.
example. Like Praman, we are doing, we have launched this Pancham, bot also for all
Okay.
elected and selected representatives. So I think it's a great,
Yeah, so
kind of
that would,
experience,
the
I would say.
efficiency would obviously they help them adopt the
I
things.
mean,
Yeah, definitely.
let me tell you, in our own corporate meetings, we are still some of us making notes, right?
Yes,
Despite being on Teams, despite using co-pilots,
so true.
despite having all tools at
Despite,
our disposal, but we are still using it, right? We expect a junior guy to take notes and circle
yeah.
back. So that's a cultural change which you have to also see. And these changes
Gradually it will be
and
achieved,
these
sir.
changes couldn't have been possible if we wouldn't have the infrastructure like Bhashni,
Bhashini, yeah.
right? Because ministry on its own, how ministry got benefited? We have infrastructure like Bhashni, right? We have the, GPUs got available to us through the
Yeah,
India AI mission, right? Otherwise, procurement itself could have been a big challenge, right?
so
So
true.
we have a team to kind of build applications. So I think, it takes a village to move
It
something,
takes a
right? So
bit
that's
time.
what
Yeah,
has happened here.
absolutely. Thank you for sharing your thoughts.
In fact, just continuing
Sure.
with that, the Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation
Yeah.
has actually approached us that the meetings of their village VWCs, village water committees,
Okay.
they want to use Bhashini for that, and
Awesome.
there
I
has been
think
some initial interactions
that's
between the
that's
two
commendable,
teams.
I
Yeah.
would say. That's awesome. So Alokji, let's talk of some implementation challenges in rural India with AI. AI in rural governance is transformating, but complex. So what are the biggest operational challenges, infrastructure, though a bit, I think Amitji was about to share that, but then infrastructure, training, dialect diversity, and connectivity. So what challenges are you facing? How receptive are panchayat functionalities and rural citizens to AI-enabled systems?
Challenges, of course, there are many, and you would have anybody tell you. What we have found out, the adoption of e-Gram Swaraj by our villages, Gram Panchayats, uh, a case in point, Uttar Pradesh has got something like 59,000 Gram Panchayats.
Okay.
And for Uttar Pradesh to onboard e-Gram Swaraj seemed like an impossible task because it involved registering your digital signing certificates and then everybody agreeing to completely dispense with checkbooks.
Okay.
All your payments were then going to be. Can you imagine Uttar Pradesh did it in 40 days flat? All 59,000 Gram Panchayats.
40 days.
So my point was that that if you are ready with a product that addresses their needs and it is friendly and it meets, of course, my need was that I needed the money well accounted for, and their need was a system that could make it very easy for them to do it. So we met halfway, and if UP can do it in 59,000, I'm not prepared to hear an excuse from any other state in the country. Yeah, it's
Very
a
true.
trial by fire. Likewise for Sabasar. Sabasar, again, I said initially that there was a demand that was indicated from the state. So when we set out to meet that, we were clear what is it that we are looking for, and people were so forthcoming. In fact, Bhashini also enabled me to write letters to the states in their languages, and people were gushing with affection and whatnot. कि हमें पहली बार तेलुगु में letter मिला and all that. So there are challenges, but then the Gram Panchayats are predisposed to meet you halfway.
Okay.
So you need to begin that journey.
Yeah.
And we've seen that with regard to a number of things. There have been campaigns. Every year they carry out a campaign from 2nd October to the 31st of December, which extends to January typically, where all 2.5 lakh Gram Panchayats prepare their Gram Panchayat development plans and upload it on the portal. So 250,000 Gram Panchayats, all of them planning for the next year. And so before you enter the next financial year, their plans are ready. I mean, we don't do it in the departments, in the ministries.
Yes.
And all these Gram Panchayats have not done it once, twice. They started in 2018. They've continued to do it ever since. In the COVID year, there was a request that is bar nahi karte campaign. So there was a massive pushback from the states that no, we want to do it. The inertia was so great that they still did it. So there are challenges, but if we make an application like he was saying, that this is a simple recording device, this is a mobile phone, there aren't things that you need to procure to set it up. So if you make a simple tool, people would grab it with both hands.
So true. So I think that is the embracing of challenges rather with the response we are getting with Bhashini. So for ministries delivering last mile services such as Ministry of Rural Development and the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, what lessons from MOPR's AI journey would you share? How important is open architecture and interoperability in your sense?
That is dangerous territory. I am not in a position where I could start advising anybody because they've got pretty robust systems of their own. If you look at Manrega Soft and the PM Awas Yojana, because they are running schemes which are very pointed. Awas Yojana is just about houses. Manrega is a scheme where there is, of course, it's as large as the things that you do in the Finance Commission grants, but it is fairly well organized. And in all of these, typically the beneficiary is the individual. In Panchayati Raj mode, there are individuals at the end of it, but our emphasis is on the institution, the Panchayat, and not just e-Gram Swaraj and the things that we do for their accounting and planning. We also hooked up with the meteorological department, and there are daily forecasts being generated for every Gram Panchayat. This people are able to see on their phones and all with the similar ability as they're able to see everything using Bhashini. So it's a great enablement all around, and it can only get better from here.
Absolutely. So Amitji, over to you. How critical is open architecture ensuring long-term sustainability and avoiding vendor lock-in?
No, if I can take a minute and talk about the previous question also.
Sure.
So,
Please go ahead.
sir rightly mentioned that different ministries have got a different mandate. So it's not an apple-to-apple comparison. But see, you also have to see the Panchayati Raj. The main role of Panchayati Raj, what I understand, is the mobilization, right? Because they are not running major schemes on their own compared to others. And generally, the best practices doesn't have to be in form of technology or architecture only, right? The idea is that if you go down from top, there are two different ministries, and if you go to the village, you will see the same infrastructure, same set of people are only working
Very true.
from both departments, right? So the idea is, if one can do, others can also do. So there is a lot of learning in terms of method, that how we could overcome, how could we mobilize, how we could implement some of these solutions. And I'm sure RD, we know that RD and agriculture are also doing a lot of things, but their mandate is much bigger. But they can also, take a lot of pride or a kind of learning from the success which we have, right? What was the second question?
Second one was that how critical is open architecture in ensuring long-term sustainability and avoiding the vendor lock?
So you must be hearing this word called sovereignty quite a lot, right, nowadays. So the whole idea of, being sovereign in any part of the, technology, be it defense, be it IT, be it anyway, is a survivability, right? So the idea is, in spite any kind of, geopolitical risk, we should survive. Our system should run, right? So for that, generally people confuse sovereignty with also make in India, local, etc. So that's not the case, right? We will always have some technology from outside. But we have to design in a way that it is kind of ready to shift, right? So either from a technology point of view, we have the interoperability, the standards which we have chosen, the models which we have chosen, the infrastructure which we can move around, and the teams which can control, right?
So
So the
true.
data residency has to be within India and data is with us. So obviously if we have trained on one, we can train on other, something else also. So the idea is also to look little bit long term. See what has happened that when we started, obviously there were a lot of POCs. Nobody knew, right, how AI will
How will,
behave. Still
yes,
we
how
don't
will
know.
it be? Exactly.
Still we don't know, right? I mean, so obviously that you have to start somewhere, right? And then you have to also ensure that in future, when we start with one use case, it becomes easy, right? When the
Yeah.
department itself becomes a fully AI enabled and we have 10 AI use cases running, then it becomes a problem, right? Problem of management.
Management,
So
yeah.
that's where I think we need to plan better for future so that, we plan, I mean, it's not that a use case is defined, then we found the easier method of procurement of infra or the model which I knew. So the
Yeah.
going forward, I think there'll be a platform approach, right? So where we have to think for future also that, okay, these AI cases are likely to come in future as well. Different kind of AI, right? Be it agentic, be it Gen AI, be it conversational, be it computer vision analytics. And accordingly, we have to have an open architecture, like the way we did in a normal digital transformation. Even digital
Yeah.
transformation, there used to be time where we created our own independent monolith applications. But now we are creating applications, which are more API based, can integrate with anybody, right? And futuristic, can scale, are modular. So same concepts
Well
have to
said.
be used for AI
Well said.
initiatives as well.
Well said. So I think adoption comes with responsibility, and that's what you are scaling at, looking at. So Alokji, Sabhasar demonstrates how language AI can power grassroots governance. After Sabhasar's success, what deeper integrations do you envision with Bhashini, and what does the next phase of collaboration looks like? Let's talk about that.
Uh, yeah, it works. A thing that we've got into over the last 1, 2 years is service delivery
Okay.
in to the last mile to the people living inside villages.
Mm-hmm.
So it started much before that. We ran a campaign called Citizen Charter,
Okay.
where we told the states about what the other states were doing. Yeah, there
Mm-hmm.
is a great deal of diversity from
Yeah.
state to state.
Mm-hmm.
So we put up a model kind of a charter, and then we asked all gram panchayats to conduct meetings, and at the end of that meeting, adopt a charter for itself. So this campaign happened long back, and it gave us a long list of all these services that were being delivered, that was from the records, and the services that villages wanted delivered on their doorstep, that came through in their charters. So the next step was that for a charter, if you need a service delivered which relates to, say, electricity department or the sanitation department, these people need to be on board. They need to own, I mean, panchayat, we've been talking to panchayats because we have Ministry of Panchayati Raj,
Yeah.
but then the work that they handle pertains to a number of departments all across. So all these people should be in agreement with those charter, and they should be sensitive to supplying those needs or providing those needs within the policy time and all that.
Yeah.
So subsequently, we arrived at a common minimum charter, and basis that, we asked states that maybe you need to make changes to your law, for instance, or your rules. If people wanted a birth or death certificate,
Yeah.
then they needed to make some changes there so that the village patwari or the panchayat secretary were authorized to do it.
Yeah.
And likewise, there were so many other things. There were some changes that were of rule nature. There were other things that could just be passed on as instructions. So that's still a work in progress. So there are about 18 states that adopted that charter, of which about 16 have already started providing all those common minimum services. So minimum se nahi chalega. We wanted
True.
more. Yeah. So now we had like a model list, union set, if you will, of
Okay.
all the desirable services that were being delivered. And the ministry carried out an exercise through an expert committee. And we have a much bigger list now. So we are not satisfied with the minimum. Now we are working towards that. I think that AI has great potential in helping us
Thank you.
So service delivery is something people don't know to expect. And we would like through, and people are going to be speaking in any number of languages. I think the next step, my government is something that has already been always been very invested in providing services to making ease of living easier, as it were, and providing all manner of things. Everything is finally a service. You need to look at a doctor, you need your road fixed, you need a
Everywhere.
street light to be working, you want logged water to be drained or something.
Attention everyone. Come watch
So
this
everyone
next
wants.
talk in Wisdom of India. Enjoyable entertainment extravaganza at the Open Air Theatre Amphitheatre at 6:30 at the Bharat Mandapa Convention Center. Thank you.
She needs more attention than us. Yeah. Okay, over to you, sir.
So people should come to expect, they should demand these services from their Gram Panchayats. There are mechanisms of doing that because Gram Panchayats don't have a lot of resources in terms of manpower, in terms of people who are at their beck and call to carry out the activities that are flowing from the charter. So there are systems in a lot of these villages. You have common service centers. In some states, they have their own system of common service centers like UP, like Bapuji Seva Kendra in Karnataka, like Me Seva. So we need to take that further, and we need people to be able to talk and find out if a certain if a certain service that is available to them, can they avail it in their village? If they are to do that, what is the mechanism? And if they've already made an application, that bot should be able to tell them that where that thing currently stands. So that is a very wide area. Like I said, that there are a number of services. We also learned of a pilot that was carried out in Guwahati, where a bus used to have a camera, it used to drive through, capture all number of images, and basis that, it would assign, issue labels to them, as it were.
Okay.
Sadak tuti dekhi, to ek wo ho gaya. If there is a drain overflowing, so it takes note of that. If there is a pothole, then it takes note of that. And then it assigns it to all these agencies whose job it becomes now to fix that. So not that, but maybe we have a mobile interface called Meri Panchayat, which ports a lot of information from e-Gram Swaraj. Meri Panchayat also has the capability of capturing images of the issue that is being reported. I think the next step is that image, it makes sense of the image and it assigns it to the necessary department. There are people who are mapped whose job it is to carry it out, and within a certain amount of time it doesn't happen, then there is escalation. We need to go deeper into that system. That, I think, is the next frontier. And of course, because it involves vocalization of your demand, so Bhashini is absolutely critical in this.
So when we say there's a long way to go, I think that phrase is no more relevant. It's a short way, but a big, not even a big journey, an intelligent journey to move ahead, yeah? So India is building public digital infrastructure for AI at scale. So how do we balance scale with accountability and public trust? We have talked much about how we are building things, but let's talk about the other side. And can India lead the world in population scale? Of course it can, I'm sure about that. But then multilingual AI for governance when it comes?
You'd like to have a shot at it first?
No, so one thing, you all have to realize that whatever we do is a population scale and unparalleled, right? Because of our size.
True.
So even our POCs exceed the kind of, performance of European countries.
Yes.
Our UP, sir, talked about UP 60,000 panchayats. If you look at UP, maybe it will be in top 10 country, right, sir? In terms of population and size.
I think the world is vouching for us when it comes to the use cases,
So, see, if you look at that, we have got that scale now.
Yeah.
We have the experience behind us, right? We did Aadhaar, we did UPI, we did FASTag, we did GST, and we did income tax. So now we have that confidence behind us that we can do anything of scale. And with the same frugal approach, we will do 10 times cheaper than Western world, and certainly not worse, better only, right?
Yeah,
So in
yeah.
terms of that. And also, from last decade, we have evolved, right? So for example, the concept of privacy, like DPDP Act, consent-based usage, like, Aadhaar brought. So a lot of things have improved from a policy side of it. Now once you have policies in place, systems are easy because systems themselves act as a rule. Once you have policies in place, then you don't need so much of human intervention or discretion. So since we have done it, since we have kind of done so much, so now if you look at the very simple case, Bhasni, I remember 4 or 5 years back, and I and Amitabh used to, kind of debate also whether we need a Bhasni,
Okay.
right? Because
Okay.
we had some of the Google Translate services, so
Yeah.
on and so forth, right? But the idea is that, in the
How
hindsight,
deep?
that was the
Yes.
right call, right? In future, we have to have something called sovereignty word, right? We don't have to dependent, we
So
need to
true.
be frugal,
Yes.
and we don't want to use, the applications which
Yeah.
are very expensive from a taxpayer money point of view.
True.
So similar things we have done a lot, right? So I think the next step, for example, if you look at roam around in AI Summit, you will see how many LLMs and SLMs we are building on our own, right? Honorable ministers talked about 5 layers. So application, I think we have ample talent to build applications. LLMs, we use open LLMs, but we are developing our own, and
Yes.
Basni also like one of the
One of them.
common
Yes.
infrastructure. Energy will take care, right? Infra and chips anyway will have dependency, but that's the rest of the world also has a dependency, right? Not that everybody has a
Everybody's
rare
doing
earth and
everything.
everybody is building chips. So that way, I believe that and because we have that technical know-how also, that's our kind of bread and butter
Yeah.
nowadays, right?
Yeah.
So we'll be able to, take the learnings from all these systems
Okay.
and we'll move forward. As of now, we were a bit slow in last year or two because AI itself was new for everyone, so we took some time. But now I think from this year onwards, we'll really scale it up because we have tested the blood, we have seen the success, and we will scale it up.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that. So as we come towards the closure of this conversation, I would like to leave with the one final thought, which is like if Panchayati Raj institutions are the foundation of democracy, can AI, when built on a public stack and powered by language inclusion, become the strongest enabler of participatory governance in 21st century? Just closing thoughts from you both. Alokji, would you?
Absolutely. He was just telling you that we've been able to do things at scale. This thing about UP that I told you, I wear it like a badge. That to have done it in some place. So, and it's not an easy ask because there are so many stakeholders. They've got various kinds of issues of their own. You've got to engage with them, address those things. And if my problem is well defined and if I know what kind of a thing is going to help me redress that, like Bhashini did for us, I think that what you said is going to come
Resolve,
true,
yeah.
yes, because that is, so being able to understand my problem and knowing what parts of the problem can be fixed in what manner, using the various tools that are available, that is the key. And it's not an oversimplification, but वो था ना, good servant, bad master. So that is something that stays, and it is not. It's not going to land you in the right places if you just let it go around like an animal. But then if you know where to put it, what modules to be inserted where, what has been used in the background, and so that would make you more confident. I'm not really an AI person, so I'm just speaking on the strength of what I have learned. And the experience thus far has been outstanding, partly because we've had a very good partner. But other than that, I am not, I'm not throwing it all open out to AI. I don't wear T-shirts saying, I love AI or something. But I have a problem, and it needs fixing, and I need to be able to know what aspects of AI can help me fix that in the best possible manner. That's my
that's a
thing on this.
transparent thought. Yeah.
So like sir said, sir is not a AI person, neither am I. So
Yeah.
if you look at, that.
But he was transparent enough to share that. Yeah.
No, no. So look at that way that none of us were, right?
Yes,
Because if you're
exactly.
talking about AI, I've been doing this, digital transformation for public sector for over 20 years.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was no AI, even there was no DPI, DPG also, what we kind of retrofitted with the
Yeah.
names, right? So if you look at the idea of Panchayati Raj itself is a participative governance, right? That people have to assemble in the Gram Sabha and decide on the money which they are getting, how to spend and prioritize.
Absolutely.
And if AI tools like Praman and Sabasar and Pancham can help that strengthen, what best you can expect from a participative government, from a democratization point of view.
Yes.
So I think this sometimes that technology becomes secondary, and in my view, most of time, right? The ideas have to be clear in terms of what you want to achieve and what problem you want to solve, what scale you want to solve, what are the guardrails you have to kind of also put in place. So for example, when we do AI, that it cannot be 100% autonomous, right?
Of course.
And it cannot be 100% human in the loop also. Because if we have each and every transaction being, approved by human in the loop, then it defeats the purpose of AI.
AI, yes.
And there is no AI, right? Then we are still living in the rule-based algorithms. So the idea of, that AI will be that we also train, monitor, have the mechanism to take complaints, have the mechanism to perfectly, kind of train it better, so that we improve our accuracy. So that is how AI journey. So AI journey is slightly different from the previous digital transformation journey, which were more like a transactional systems, right? So that way, I think if you look at currently also Sabasar, I think whatever I am hearing from people, market teams also, it is giving great accuracy, right, in terms of translation, and summarization.
True.
And I'm sure whatever there are little bit areas to improve, it will improve on its own. So we have to,
With time,
we
yes.
cannot stop it, right? So once we have, boarded a flight, then we can only
Yeah.
get down at where we have to, right? So I think future is bright, and also from a MOPR experience point of view, it will also, I'm sure, energize and motivate lot many others. I can say with my experience that if MOPR can do in rural, we can
Yes,
use AI
absolutely.
tools.
This is the
There is no stopping for us as a
exactly.
nation.
This is truly an achievement when it comes to MOPI, yeah, with the government. So you want to say anything regarding this, Alokji? I think you have some
thought
thought.
of another application that uh, that is something we've been working on, which was spatial development plans.
Okay.
We again engaged with a lot of panchayats that were close to the highways.
Okay.
So typically, if a panchayat is on a national highway, close to a big city and have a population of 10,000 plus, then you were eligible to participate in this program.
Okay.
So there were 34 GPs that we involved, and we got the planning and architecture colleges to prepare spatial plans for them.
Okay.
Spatial plan would be futuristic, it would zone, and it would, assign, it would look into the future and see how this place was going to grow. It would devise road networks or something and tell people what they would become over a period of time. We had a conference with Gram Panchayats around Bhopal, Bilkisganj.
Okay.
And the people were so annoyed. बोला, क्या कर रहे हैं आप, ये किस तरह का plan है, हमें तो चाहिए नहीं, we wanted रास्ता, we wanted this, we don't need a special plan. Over a period of time, of course, we told them what it was going to be, but we had this epiphany that people need to be able to see what this spatial plan will help them become. And then we went into the next national conference. We had for each of these 34 spatial development plans a visualization where we employed and we showed people कि ये
This is how
अगर
it-
बनना है तुमने तो उसके लिए तुमने ये करना होगा, है ना? And then there was greater enthusiasm. So the people on whom this plan is, who are going to be subjected to this plan, if I could use those words, So these people, if they're not on board, there is no way you can carry it out.
Absolutely.
And that, I think, is wide open. We've had after that, the entire state of Andhra Pradesh has gone ahead and said that all their planning is going to be spatial plans. So that is something
Visibility came out.
that
Yeah.
is amenable to AI tools.
Yeah.
And a final thing that I remembered, that lots of times we need to convey through audio, video messages. He mentioned Pancham. So
Yeah.
Pancham is a WhatsApp-based chatbot platform which allows us to have two-way conversation with all the
The
sarpanches and panchayat secretaries in the country. So all these people, and so if there is a messaging that needs to be conveyed, if there are videos that need to be quickly created using AI tools, that is something that would be hugely effective
exactly.
in getting the message across
Amazing,
in the
amazing.
quickest possible way.
Thank you so much for such in-depth insights on the Gram Panchayat and how things are working behind. We were actually, I'm sure the audience was truly, they were unknown about what's happening around, and this conversation has given a new tangent to how we look at the rural development. Thank you so much, Shri Alok, and thank you so much, Shri Amir, for sharing these thoughts on Gram Panchayat development. Thank you so much for this fireside chat. Thank you. We would want you to felicitate, they'll felicitate you guys to be here. Thank you. So I would like to call Ms. Deepika to please felicitate Mr. Alok.